The first thing that all of us are taught about money is that money must be earned through labor, and this is one of the biggest lies out there when it comes to money, and this is a big reason why a lot of people will never become wealthy. Growing up, this was the only thing that I saw. My parents were immigrants, like I said, and so when you come to a new country with not that much money, where you don't speak the language, where you don't know the culture, you have to hustle to make it work. And so my dad had this thing where he would say, there's no such thing as sick days, because if you take a sick day, that means you're not going to work. If you're not going to work, you're not getting paid. If you're not getting paid, you don't have money to eat. Now, I was very fortunate. I was never poor. I never had to worry about where my next meal was going to come from. But I really understood the value of working hard, because in my mind, the more you worked, the more money you would make. And it was to the point where if my parents had a Saturday and a Sunday off, a whole weekend off, this was considered a long vacation. But this method of earning money is how we're all taught to earn money. Here's how it works. Here's you right here. Gotta draw you, a nice mustache, or for our female audience, draw you a nice braid, or as we say in my native language, a gut. So here's you, and here is your job. And so what do? You go to your job, and every time you go to your job pays you a paycheck. Now, if you want to earn more money in this system, what do? Well, you go and get a good degree, or you go and get a certificate, you get a master's, you become a doctor, you become an attorney, you become an engineer. So you get a better job to get a higher paycheck. But at the end of the day, it's still labor. Sure, maybe it's not physical labor, but you're still working. You go to a job every single day to get this paycheck. If you have a better job, you make more money. But this is where kind of one of the disconnects are about money, because yes, you can make money here, but this is not the only way to make money, because this is one of the biggest misconceptions that I had, because I always assumed that if you wanted to make money, you had to go to a job, you had to do a task, you had to do some work in order to get paid. But it doesn't work like that. Wealthy people and rich people do not make money in the system. Sure, maybe that's how they started off, or maybe this is how they attract some money, but that's not the only way they make money. What every single wealthy person does is they understand that they do not want to earn all their money through their labor, because there's a limit to how much you can work. There's a limit to how many days you can work. There's a limit to how many hours you can work. And so what they do is they take this money right here. We'll call this your EI, your earned income. This is money that you have to go work to earn. And now they're going to make this money, and they're going to put some of this money aside right here. And they're going to take this money and they're going to put it to work somewhere else for their PI, passive income, because there's a difference between your earned income, where you have to go to a job, or where you have to go to your business, where you have to do something to earn money, and your passive income, where your money goes out and makes you money. This EI, this earned income right here, is not going to make you rich. I don't care what job you have. I don't care if you're a doctor. You are never going to become rich just with your salary right here. What you need to do if you want to become wealthy, this is whether you're making $25,000 a year or $2.5 million a year, is you got to take some of this money aside and you got to start putting it towards your passive income. This is what wealthy people do. Wealthy people take as much of this money here and they put it here, because they understand that this is not going to make you rich. Because it doesn't matter how much money you make, as soon as you stop working, that money stops coming in. And so if you look at really what becoming wealthy is how much freedom you have. Here, it doesn't matter if you're running a business or if you have a job. It doesn't matter, because now if you stop working, you stop getting paid. Now, this is assuming that you don't have a big business where you don't have to work in there to get paid. But if you have a small business, or if you're working a job, you have to work to get paid. Now, what you got to do is you got to take this money, put it here. That way now you're getting paid even if you don't go to work, even if you don't do a specific task. And this is where real wealth is built. When I realized this concept, that was when I changed my life completely, at least financially, because I stopped working just for this. Before, anytime I made money, I'd want a nicer car. I'd want to upgrade my car. I'd want a new watch. I'd buy all these nice things. But when I realized that my money could fund my lifestyle, not just by making money and spending it, but by making money and using it the right way, by buying investments, assets, real estate, stocks, things that pay you, then I started changing what I did with my money. Instead of buying cars and watches, I started buying real estate. And these were things that started paying me with cash flow. And so what I understood was, if I made enough money here from my passive income, then I could fund my entire life without making any money here. So it was a big shift in my mind, and this is where a lot of us are never taught that you can make money outside of just your job. In most of our minds, we think, okay, if we want to make money, what do? Well, we can get a job, we can start a business. But both of these are going to require a lot of work on your part, and if you don't work, you don't get paid. But you have to get paid even if you don't work, if you want to become wealthy. The way you do that, you get paid, whether it's from your job, your business, whatever, you get paid, you have to put money here. Now, I'm not going to be getting into investing and how you do that in this video because I got other things I want to talk about. But if you do want to learn more about how you can start investing in real estate for cash flow, I already made a video where I explain all that, and I'll link that video for you in the description below. This system is why you have some doctors that are broke and you have some people making $30,000 a year that retire wealthy, because when you live off of this, you will never be able to build wealth. But when you work to grow this so you can live off of this, you will become wealthy. And so what you want to do is stop living off of this and start living off of this. The second wrong thing that we're all told about money is that money is evil, or some sort of variation of this. Like in my house, money wasn't something that we really talked about, because in my culture, you don't really talk about money in that way. Like it's just kind of something that you just kind of assume is going to be okay. You don't talk about money. So at the same time, I know when I was growing up, my parents always told me that if I wanted to become successful, I should become a doctor. But we never talked about money management or investing or saving, because these things were kind of just bad and distractions. So we never talked about money. And anytime I did, I was always told, don't worry about money. It will be okay once you are a doctor. But here's the thing. In my culture, I'm going to keep it just completely real with you. In my culture, we don't talk about money. But at the same time, we have so many people drowning in debt. We have so many people that do not understand how to spend their money. We have so many people blowing their money on nice cars, but now do not have any money for their investments. We have so many people blowing their money on the wrong things and do not have a way to afford a decent lifestyle or afford a good education for their kids. And so we have all these kind of like confusions in the way that people use their money, and it all comes down to this, because we are scared to talk about money. But the reality is we have to start talking about money. That way we can start being good with our money. That way we can start building wealth for ourselves instead of making everybody else around us rich. And the unfortunate thing is the media does not help with this. The media, especially nowadays, we really start to see this kind of like divide between the rich and the poor. And anytime you hear people talk about someone rich or a corporation or whatever on the news, it's always portrayed as this evil person, right? Because rich people are evil in the media. But the thing that you have to understand is money at the end of the day does not make you a good person. Money does not make you a bad person. Money is just a tool. Okay, it does not make you bad, it does not make you good. It is a tool that you can use to take better care of your family. It's a tool that you can use to take better care of your parents. It's a tool that you can use to take better care of your spouse. It's a tool that you can use to take better care of your community. We live in this culture right now where people hate rich people. Why? Because they're rich. And this is where we have to kind of start breaking out of this mold and take a step back and say, why are we thinking like that? Why do we think this person's rich? Because they have become successful? Maybe instead of us hating on success and this richness, or whatever you want to call it, how about we figure out how this person became successful so we can do it too? Because being broke has never helped anyone. Period. Okay? You can help more people if you have money. Money is just fuel. It amplifies what you do. If you want to feed hungry people, having $1 million can help you feed more hungry people. If you want to do more community service, sure, you as a person can do that. But if you have $1 million with you, you can do a whole lot more community service. Okay? So money is just fuel. It doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you a bad person. It amplifies who you are. It allows you to do more of whatever it is you want to do. I realize I never changed this 1 to a 2, so let me do that right now. Look, at the end of the day, money is just one part of your life. And yes, there are things that are way more important than money. Like, you got to be physically healthy. If you're on your deathbed, it doesn't matter how much money you make. Because if you're about to die, or if you're so obese where you can't live your life, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You got to be mentally healthy. If you're depressed or you have all this anxiety so you cannot even live your life, it doesn't matter how much money you have if you cannot live happily. You have to have spiritual health. That doesn't mean you have to be religious. When I say spiritual health, I mean you got to have a purpose in your life. You got to have a reason to get out of bed in the morning. If you don't have a reason to get out of bed, you can have $10 million in the bank, but it doesn't mean anything because you don't have a purpose to your life. Once you have the physical fitness, the mental fitness, and the spiritual fitness, now is when being financially healthy is the most beneficial. But this is where everyone gets thing screwed up because everyone says money doesn't buy happiness, so don't worry about money. Yeah, money is not going to buy you happiness, but being broke is not going to make you happy either. Money can help buy you the things that you want to do. That way you can do things that make you happy. And money can buy you freedom, but you got to understand where money plays a part in your life. And when you just put up the smoke screen by saying things like money's evil, so you don't got to talk about it, now you're just ignoring the issue and you're living in fairy tale la la land. If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide that goes over what passive income is, how to start generating passive income, and different passive income strategies. All you got to do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.